Hi, I'm Christian Butzek with RE/MAX Crest right here in downtown Vancouver. And the topic of today's video blog is it a good time to buy a condo or a townhouse in Vancouver right now? And I'm going to focus on condos and townhouses because they're very different than detached homes. So, is it a good time? And I would think it's a great time to buy a place right now. And there's several reasons for that. Now, you might be thinking, well, you're a realtor, Christian. I mean, of course you're going to say it's always a good time to buy and sell. Well, there is some truth to that. And let's look at why that might be. First is you actually have time now. I mean, if you went back into a time machine 2 years ago into the 2017 market, that was a very active time. I mean, properties would get listed on a Monday and they would be sold by the next Monday. You had to make plans after work with your agent. I did this dozens and dozens of times during that time where I'd call my clients right after work. We got to get over there and take a look, especially if they were taking early offers too. So it's a good time now because you have that time. You can go and look at several places on a Saturday, several more on a Sunday, and then maybe have dinner with the family and then decide on when you like. So time is on your side right now. The second is more inventory, right? When it takes, instead of taking a week, it takes 3 or 4 weeks to sell. What happens is more and more inventory accumulates on the market. And so that means you have more to choose from. So, and of course, who doesn't like to have more choice? So just for that reason alone, it's a good time because you've got more options, okay? The third reason, and I like this as a real estate agent, especially when I'm on the buyer side, is we can make an offer that is conditional. That is conditional to financing and inspection. What's a conditional offer? A conditional offer means that once you have an agreement with the seller, we have usually about 5 business days to do our financing. Make sure that the buyer can actually get the mortgage, that you could actually get the mortgage from the bank to purchase that property. A second condition we have in there is inspection. Well, we want to know what's the condition of the home, right? Especially if it's a wood frame townhouse, maybe 30 or 40 years old. Very, very important in that situation to do an inspection, right? Because as good as realtors are, I can't tell my clients what the condition of the roof is. Really only an inspector would. So that's a very good reason to buy now, is you have that conditional period. I also call it the due diligence period. And we can also review the strata documents as well. And I like to sit down with my clients and just kind of go over the paperwork so as they understand what they're buying. And the fourth is that prices have actually come down just a little bit for condos and townhouses. Now, prices on detached homes have come down a lot, but it's not the same for condos and townhouses. They've come down somewhat, maybe 5%. If we're to sort of average it out and look at places, around SkyTrains, like in Brentwood, Metrotown, at Joyce Collingwood Station. And when prices have come off a little bit, you might be buying a place at a discount. So a good example, if you were looking at Joyce Collingwood about a year ago for a $600,000 condo, today that might be $570,000. Or $565,000. You're buying the same product at a $35,000 discount, right? From where it was 18 months ago or 12 months ago. Why not, right? Take advantage of that. I often will get asked, well, why not just wait a little bit more? And I'd be very careful with that because that's what's called timing the market. Very, very hard to do. The greatest investors in the world have consistently warned against trying to time the market. Warren Buffett has a great saying. He says the best time to buy stocks or real estate was yesterday. The second best time is today. And it's one of my favorite lines. And so it's been a personal philosophy of mine to, when I'm ready, I go and buy. I don't waste time trying to time the market. And actually the place that we're in right now is my residence with my wife and I, and it's probably worth $15,000 off of where we bought it. So we've lost probably about $15,000 if we were to sell it today. But you know what? It doesn't bother me because we're not going to sell it. I could care less that it's come down $15,000 in value, because we're going to be holding it for 8 years easily. So if you have that time horizon too, and I really stress that you think about things in long term. You know, real estate cycles, even if you bought at a peak, if you and you see a valley, if you're holding for a period of 5 to 8 years, 8 years especially, you will almost 90% of the time you will get back, you will be ahead from where you bought. So time is on your side. You've got to ride these things out. And it's my view that you just do that. So I would say that it's a great time to buy, and especially if it's your principal residence too. Remember, you do not pay any tax on a principal residence. If you owned your own place for a period of 8 years starting today, if it went up $50,000, $100,000 in value, you get to keep every single dollar of that of the difference. If you bought for $500 and you sold for $600 years later, that $100,000 goes into your bank account. And if you're moving to Ottawa or somewhere out east, that translates into a really big home somewhere else, and so that's something you really want to think about. And it's an advantage we have in Canada that you don't have in a lot of other places. So for today's video blog, I'm going to suggest that I think it's a great time, especially if you're looking downtown, if you're looking anywhere around SkyTrain stations, newer condos, anything sort of concrete, less than 10 years. I think I personally have bought, and I would suggest that you give it some good consideration too. So that's the topic of today's video blog. If you have further questions, feel free to write the comments below, and we'll see you next time.